First of all, Jensen, before we get to some of the individual games today on the docket that you might like, what were your big takeaways here from the weekend? Would it have been, obviously, the Brewers? I think some people, when I look at that 3-4 against the Dodgers, I feel like the Blue Jays back in it, winning another series, 2 out of 3 against the Yanks. They're only a game back. What was one of your bigger takeaway points?
White Sox sweeping the Tigers. Big statement as Detroit was so hot coming in, had the Southsiders at home there and absolutely get dethroned or decimated, I should say. That's a huge, huge shift in where we are for the American League Central race. But more importantly, when you look at the topography of where we are in the American League wildcard race too, you still have all these sub 500 teams that are just about a game and a half, 2.5 games out. Seattle with a big win on Sunday Night Baseball last night. Dave, beginning play today, the Baltimore Orioles occupy the final wild card spot. Winners of 3 in a row in Tampa. They go for the 4-game sweep later on tonight. But between Baltimore and Seattle, you have 7 teams within 2.5 games of the final wild card spot. It's just mind-boggling to think about on the American League side. Did want to kind of zoom out a little bit and look at a second wind, if you will. Since the All-Star break, Dave, some key categories that I like to look at that give you a little bit of a filter as to which teams have really turned it on here. And now with a pretty healthy sample, right? So the All-Star break, middle of July, we're now 2 months through basically, or at least a month through, I should say, of where we are into the second half. So as far as offense goes, the Boston Red Sox top run scoring offense, not a surprise considering, what they put together in that big long winning streak. So a lot of that predicated on what they did from that timeline until now. Some other of those teams might surprise you. And most notably, looking at the Washington Nationals. Now, they ended up slipping to 5th after yesterday as San Diego went ahead of them just a little bit. But Boston, Chicago, and Detroit remain as those top run-scoring offenses. Want to bring your attention to batting average on balls and players. We like to refer in short form, BABIP. It's a big indicator of where you are as far as an offense and putting the ball in play and what you're generating from that. So again, as it says, batting average of balls in play. These are going to look a little familiar because if you're scoring, you're obviously doing damage when you put the ball in play. Cubs number 1, Tigers number 2, Padres number 3. That's where I want to start with you because you have that nice ticket on the Padres to make the postseason. Now, I went back and looked, and one of my big futures too is the Padres at 20-1 to win the National League. And with where the trials and tribulations have been with the LA Dodgers, make no mistake about it, they are in harm's way right now. And San Diego is tied with Philadelphia for the final wild card spot or final 2 wild card spots with the Diamondbacks just a game behind. Are you still bullish on San Diego with what they've put together? They obviously went in and they beat the Guardians. They win a series over the weekend in Cleveland to continue that momentum. Still wanting to buy more stock in San Diego, or are you happy with where your position is right now?
I'm sitting pretty right now. Here's what I got, Jensen. Really, the team for me that I'm rooting against, it's the Snakes out there in the desert because I'm positioned well here with a nice big-time plus money ticket on the Padres to make it, and also, as you know, the Fighting Fish down there in Miami. So if I get one of those 2 teams in, we're going to clear some positive ROI. That's for sure on one of those 2 tickets. Now, if it's Arizona and it's not San Diego and it's not Miami, we're going to take a slight loss there. But I like where we're positioned there. Look, this is why I mentioned them in June, kind of waiting for them. And as I kept saying, like the back of the bubblegum card starting to look like it. And it's starting to do that. They're starting to hit a little bit more and more. And the pitching, I think we know, is pretty solid. Certainly the bullpen as well. I'd really like to see Miami, Jensen. That would be the team that I'd love to see if they could get across the line. That's a bigger ticket at plus 750, I think, to make the postseason. But as long as it's one of those 2 and it's not the Snakes, then I'll be happy with that. But look, I'm nervy because Arizona, boy, they've had a great start to their second half as well. So no guarantees that either one of those 2 tickets gets home.
San Diego 19-10 since the All-Star break. Arizona 17-12 and has made up a boatload of ground. One more quick point on the pitching side of that second win graphic we have. Team ERA, always fun to look at just because it does give you a little bit of semblance of how well a team is pitching. But Dave, a category that I like to look at, and if you are a fan of Fangraphs, this is strikeout to walk percentage. So again, the ratio of how many times a team is striking out versus walking, this really tells you much better in a clearer look at which staffs are being incredibly efficient and limiting not only extra free passes or traffic, but generating a high amount of swing and miss in correlation. Probably not going to shock you the Milwaukee Brewers are number one. It will shock you that the Cleveland Guardians are number two. And they did just get passed by the Yankees yesterday, so you can flip-flop 2 and 3. But more the point of, it doesn't necessarily translate for Cleveland in the win-loss department. They're 9-19 since the All-Star break. Their pitching staff's been phenomenal, or at least they have been better. They've been giving themselves a chance to win. They have no offense to speak of. The other team is the Tampa Bay Rays. And yes, they've fallen on some hard times here, losing 3 straight against the Baltimore Orioles. But I bring those up because if you look at team ERA and then you also look at that strikeout to walk ratio, it is a good way to look at the futures market, at which teams over this large sample now since the All-Star break of who you can really buy into what you've seen on the field. In the postseason, Dave, you know I preach this a lot. What do you have to do? You have to hit the ball out of the ballpark as an offense. You have to generate swing and miss as a pitching staff. So a good way to kind of look at, if you're looking to buy some stock in some futures, those are 2 areas, ERA, but more notably strikeout to walk percentage, to try and buy or at least look at teams that you'd want to hitch your wagon to find their way to the postseason.
You know, I keep looking at that American League, as you mentioned, with the Rays and the Yankees kind of being the cream of it right now. Only one can get in there as a divisional winner, obviously, and we know how great the Red Sox have been in the second half here. You wake up and you see Baltimore right now occupying that third and final wild card spot here, Jensen. Half-game lead over the Rangers, a game over the Blue Jays, and a game over the Tigers. And yet, Twins are only a game and a half back. Guards are only a game and a half back. And there are the Mariners at 2.5 back. Is this going to hold with Baltimore? I mean, Charm City might be living a charmed life that they wake up and they're actually a playoff team if the season ended today.
All right, so the Orioles right now, plus 250 to make the postseason. Mariners now back down to plus 255. Your Blue Jays are at plus 290. It is insanity right now watching this American League wild card race. And don't think for a moment that the Red Sox are in the clear. They've lost 7 of 10 now. They got beat around pretty good by the Pittsburgh Pirates here over the weekend. Just kind of watch a little bit of where Boston is at this point. We knew that they couldn't keep playing 850 win percentage baseball. Right. And again, it's a credit to, they were amazing. I actually like Arizona in Fenway Park tonight. Mitch Bratt, a guy that has really trended well and has come up and been excellent for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I actually do like Arizona, a little 1.5 money line play as a short road underdog in Fenway Park tonight. This offense is really trending well with what Corbin Carroll, Gabby Moreno have done. Let's put a pin in Nolan Arenado, see if he's going to be able to come back. I know he left with an injury over the weekend, but Mitch Bratt, by Fangraphs power ranking, Dave, is the number 15 starting pitcher the last 2 weeks in all of Major League Baseball. Give me the Snakes. Wow. Short money line underdog on the road in Fenway against the Red Sox tonight.
I don't know who to root for. Can I get a tie? I guess you can't get that in Major League Baseball here, Jensen, with Arizona and the Red Sox. When we come back, we got a lot to get to here. Of course, going to catch up with the King in Connecticut. Will Hill's going to join the program. Our best bets. We're going to break down college football, take an emphasis look at Week 0. It's all straight ahead right here on VSiN by the Books.